this is Teresa. Welcome to the Dad Show. Today we're talking about how to be a good dad without being a control freak. Now, time for the show. Hey, Daryl, how's it going?
It's good. How you doing?
Smoking a stogie.
In our 36 Ford.
We're talking about dads today, and I heard that you are one.
Yeah, just kind of meet that description a little bit.
You have more than one child?
3 gorgeous daughters, all look like their mother. Be sure and get that on the tape there.
I have 2 grown daughters from my first marriage, and Deb came with 3 daughters, so I've had 5 daughters. For a macho guy, that's tough.
We have 3 birth children, and then we had all these other kids, and Lori and I ran a group home for a number of years, 5 years, and then we took foster children after that too. About 55 kids altogether, so we were kind of mom and dad to a lot of different kids.
What was it like for you when your kids were born?
Well, that was a bloody mess, first of all. So
Kevin peed all over the doctor, which was good because the doctor was a real jerk.
once things got wiped out and everything, we looked at each other and said, what do we do with this?
My first thought was, when I saw her, I thought, what's she gonna be like? What's her life gonna be like?
I like to liken it as like just a kind of a rush of love for that human being that's being born. Was that an immediate thing, or did it kind of grow?
Yeah, it was immediate, and then that went away after a while.
Did you ever have the birds and the bees conversation with your daughters?
I did it with both of them, and they taught me a lot.
How did the birds and the bees conversation go?
What I remember is the conversation about if things weren't fun, then temptation wouldn't have any role there.
But they already knew what it was. You could have been talking about volleyball or...
Well, and that may have been part of the confusion later on.
If they had girl parts, that was Jerry's job. If they had boy parts, that was my job.
Sure.
Go talk to your mother. Those were my 4 favorite words. I stuck with ornithology and entomology, and she went with what this means to you sexually. So took them out hunting, started talking about how deer go in the rut and stuff, and then I transitioned that into the birds and the bees, and then Matthew literally changed the subject to Santa Claus.
Did you teach your kids how to drive?
I was in the car with him, let's say that. Kevin, I think he took driver's ed. He's the one that had the most accidents too, actually. He ran into our vehicles a lot in the driveway.
I let the driver's ed system teach my daughters to drive, and they should not have let them have a license.
I figured, hey, we'll just find a nice, smooth back road. Suddenly we're in a bunch of curves coming up. We came out of the curves, and just like so many mountain roads, it just dropped off probably 1,000 feet on the left, on her side. I says, don't look over there, just stay over here, and maybe when we find a little pull-out, we'll end this little exercise here.
We'd be on the 2 lanes, turning left, and she'd go into the wrong lane and literally run people off the road.
Did you teach them the ways of the garage?
No, when I was a kid in grade school, there was a girl that knew how to change her oil and grease her ball joints, and I did not like her, and I did not want my daughters to know anything, so they didn't spend a lot of time in the garage.
Kelsey was the one that, after being insured for 25 years, the same company, we got dropped after Kelsey.
When they broke down, it was on the phone. They couldn't. So, is it turning over? No, it's still on all 4 wheels, but yes.
What was it like when they started dating?
My primary purpose was to be the initial screen.
When the boy would show up, I'd be sharpening my chainsaw or something on the kitchen table. So,
You did not.
they knew I was a tough guy.
One guy in particular, he had a handshake like squeezing a fish, and I should know. He wouldn't come into the house. He'd stop in the driveway to pick my daughter up, and they'd go do stupid things like jump off the bridge into the Yellowstone or something.
She liked to hunt and fish and stuff, so she'd rather do that than dating guys. It was kind of
I think my dad wishes that I was more like that.
yeah.
You kind of have to stand back and give them the best advice you can without being real obvious, and trust as best you can.
I could see that being really hard. When I look at teenage boys now, I think, why did I ever like them? What did it feel like to give your daughter away to somebody else?
It was a great experience. I really loved my son-in-law.
So you weren't at all emotional when you gave your daughter away on her
Oh,
wedding?
yeah, I cried a lot. I, stubbed my toe going into church.
What are some things that you try to impart to your kids?
2 important things. One was that they should be able to live independently and that they should have a faith of their own. That was actually quite freeing because we could do some crazy stuff or whatever as long as it didn't interfere with those goals.
What was some of the best wisdom you received?
Kind of the choose your battles. You're going to die on the haircut hill with your kids, or Whether your boys wear shorts to school in the middle of winter, or do you let those things slide and pick your battles?
A lot of times it was my way or the highway, with the kids, with the wife and everything. Dumb thing, dumb approach.
My dad used to say, lay out all your options, think about it, pray about it, make your choice, and if you hit 50-50, you're doing pretty well.
As they start to grow older, they start to exercise more control. And it's hard to make that shift. You want the best for them, but you kind of have to stand back and let it happen.
Do your best to cherish your children and teach them that that's the way they should be treated, and then expect that out of their spouse.
You seem very wise.
Mm-hmm.
You are.
That's very sweet of you.
Thanks for the ride in the car.
Anytime.
It's fun to be here amongst the lights and the cameras and the fake backdrops and all the friends.
That's a totally fake engine. Happy Father's Day!